This brand that I'm going to talk to you about today does over $27 million per year. No fancy designs, no heavy graphics, and no polished brand templates, just simply using plain text emails. And actually not occasionally, they do this for almost every single campaign. If you think that plain text may look cheap and doesn't work, this video may change your mind. But before I get on to today's video, just so you know that I'm qualified to talk about email and SMS marketing. I am Daniel, I'm head of retention at Hayes Media. We spent the past 5+ years scaling e-commerce brands with email marketing, past 7, 8, 9 figures. You can see an example of a brand we work with here. They've currently this year so far have done over, let me check, I think it's $600,000, which is a 59% increase from last year. And right now, we're actually giving complimentary retention audits over at the Hayes Media website. You can click the link below to book that retention audit. On that audit, we will give you the biggest ROI opportunities for your e-commerce brand, and it's completely free. We'll give you the action plan, everything you need to do to implement it. If you do want to work with us, you can, but otherwise that audit is there for you to take advantage of. So go ahead, click the link below, and I'll see you on that call. This is Kinobody, a supplement brand that's built around founder-led marketing, and instead of hiding behind design, they lean fully into plain text. And why do they do that? Well, I think they do two things incredibly well with plain text. First of all, plain text boosts deliverability. Second of all, they make it feel personal. What are you going to get from this breakdown? First of all, it's going to be a masterclass in direct response email marketing, 3 campaign tips that you can steal for your brand, and a quick how-to guide for keeping subscribers reading and buying with 0 design required. Now, why does this strategy make sense for someone like Kinobody? So as a supplement brand, trust is really everything. If your emails feel like ads, they will get ignored. And if they feel like the founder writing to you, usually they get read. And now Kinobody's emails, which you'll see in a second, don't actually feel like campaigns. They feel like someone like your friend, in this case Greg, is sending you a message. Now, every campaign that you'll see is relevant and market aware. If the content doesn't resonate with current trends and new discoveries in the supplement industry, they will not send it. And also they use cross-platform marketing, which is something that Klaviyo are leaning heavier and heavier into now as like a platform. We use Klaviyo for everything. And these ESPs are knowing the power of multi-channel marketing and cross-platform marketing. And Kinobody's leaned heavily into this. They put their content to work with emails that often feature links to valuable and education-focused videos and social posts from X. This makes that each of their email campaigns very easy to access for all of Greg's most important content. Now, Greg is the founder of Kinobody, and he's very much the face of the brand, which you'll see now. So the first breakdown is the random weird holiday hook. And I think they do something really clever here. They used Quitter's Day, which is technically the second Friday of January, where most people give up. This day is the day where most people give up on their resolutions, and that's not random. It's identity marketing. Instead of saying buy this supplement on this day, they're saying don't be a part of the 80% that quit. You're not buying a pill, you're joining a group that doesn't quit. And that's super powerful. And you can see here's a plain text copy. They're saying today is officially Quitters Day, the second Friday of the new year. This isn't just a random guess, it comes from hard data. Strava, the massive fitness tracking app where millions of runners and cyclists log their daily workouts, analyzed over 88 million user activities. They notice a specific undeniable pattern. Today is the day you broke New Year's resolutions, say Strava. By the second Friday of January, the vast majority of people stop logging their workouts. The gyms empty out the motivation. Now, this is based off Strava. Obviously, it's a running app. They track workouts and stuff. They're mainly talking about workouts, but it's relevant to the brand and relevant to the supplement brand industry. It's quite interesting that they decided to really touch on this and angle it. And I think it's super powerful the way they framed it. Here they go. According to the data, 80% of people quit their resolutions. Why does this happen? It's not because you let this plan. It's not because the workout was too hard. And he just uploaded a video explaining why this happens with one mental shift. Click, you watch the video, and in that video is subtle marketing and relating back to the product. But really, it doesn't read. If you read this email, it doesn't read like they're trying to sell you anything. They're mentioning something that's interesting that can pique curiosity and then simply just going into a video. And the way they do that is they just use facts or studies, and this is a very popular direct response technique, is where you use some kind of study related to a specific holiday or just specific outcome, or any study that relates again with the audience and what they may be thinking. you can use, and they did this for Quitters Day. What can you steal here? You can use the website timeanddate.com holiday/fun for all the weird and wacky dates and holidays you could ever think of, right? But please don't use them just as gimmicks, all right? Use them to create identity and urgency. That's where the difference starts. So if you go on this website, you can see throughout the month, throughout the year, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of different holidays that you can lean into. Now, you can find out, say you like one, say something is relevant to your brand. I don't know, say you're a pastry brand or a bakery, you see Marzipan Day. You can click on Marzipan Day and you can find out why Marzipan Day is Marzipan Day, what it is, and it is, again, these did you know interesting. There's actually quite a few Marzipan days that have happened already. Yeah, 2026. It's every January 12th. Again, super interesting. Yeah, marzipan is one of the foods that I hate. It's one of the most well-known and widely used foods items in kitchens and bakeries around the world. And some historians believe that marzipan has Arabic roots, while others believe that Chinese introduced it to the world. Either way, it's now become the mainstay of holiday and wedding celebrations. Something interesting, you can really educate your audience, again, if you're around, if this is relevant for your brand. So yeah, go to that link, have a look, browse through, and steal some days which you think could be relevant for your brand. Campaign breakdown 2 is the before and after visuals. Now, here's something that's quite interesting. Even though they send plain text, they still inject proof when needed. Before and after visuals, they're simple, they're clear, with no hype attached to it. Because really, if you claim anything without proof, it usually won't convert. And when you see transformation, when transformation is visual, it has a very powerful effect. Here you can see why your eyes look sleepy and busted, and you have a before and then an after. Again, linking back to something that he posted on X. Here's a link to the X article. Clearly, this is a problem a lot of people are struggling with, and it's not just about sleep. The real issue for most people is poor blood flow. Modern life kills circulation. You're sitting all day staring at screens, But when circulation is good, One of the most annoying even is this grape seed. They're basically starting to subtly talk about ingredients that are inside their supplement products and how it essentially overcomes a common problem. And a powerful before and after effect is great here. What you can steal is whenever you can use before and after visuals and infographics to back up your claims. They make it easy to consume, but not only that, they also add more contrast to your emails. And this is especially effective when you're going to be sending plain texts, just like Kinobody is. Campaign number 3 is trending market language. This is where a lot of brands tend to fall behind because maybe you don't have someone actively researching, trending market language or trends in the market. Whereas Kinobody here, they tend to speak the language of the moment. Now, if something trends in supplements, if new terminology appears, they adapt. And that's what keeps emails super relevant. If you're looking at your copy and it sounds like it's maybe written 3 years ago, your audience will feel it. Here we're talking about Kinobody and looks maxing, all right? Looks maxing is exploding right now and for good reason. Men are finally waking up to the fact that fitness isn't just about abs and arms. True optimization means building a body and a face that looks sharper, healthier, and more attractive. Something NYQ, and then he just adds a photo of, obviously, an attractive male. The single most powerful thing you can do to improve your appearance is to get low body fat level. When body fat drops, and then it links into another, again, some of the benefits that their products solve, essentially. The number one looks maxing supplement, Kino Nitro. If your goal is to look better, I'll be running a private 60-90 minute looks maxing call. Again, talking about what is super relevant in the industry right now. And again, just linking it back to their product. Now, you do have to be careful here, right? Because, for example, fortunately, looks maxing is a very vague topic. It's very new. It's quite TikTok. You can get away with saying things like, we are the number one looks maxing supplement, because looks maxing is vague. It means so many different things. It's also a new word that's been invented by TikTok. Really, you can get away that, Kino Nitro knew that they could get away with saying this. But usually you have to be careful around saying you're the number one of something without actual proof or studies behind it. And this can actually hinder trust, because people will be like, well, what do you mean? What makes you the number one looks maxing product? Fortunately, they back this up by saying, look, we're hosting private calls where it has all these amazing effects and why it works well, and all the ingredients, and these ingredients are, proven to basically improve XYZ, which relate to looks. They can back it up, but you just have to be very careful when you're saying that. You have to make sure you back it up like have here. What can you steal? really every single week, every single month, constantly researching trends in your market, right? I remember when mouth tape was a big thing. So if you're a sleep brand, I remember when mouth tape was like this whole like crazy thing on TikTok where everyone's like, oh my God, like, did you know that mouth breathing causes all these problems and means no one is sleeping well and you never know if you're mouth breathing by this tape? You know, I saw some sleep brands jump on that. I even saw new people, like brands creating like products around it. It's cool. It's really cool to find these trends and talk about it in your emails. Doesn't mean you have to create a whole new product line, but you can relate it somehow back to your product, especially if the trend or topic is in your area. If it's not in your area, try and find out how you can make it relevant to your market. And yeah, this will genuinely improve your angles massively when it comes to emails. And not only that, but you'll also get big engagement and clicks for being controversial and relevant in your emails. So what's the big lesson of these videos? I've given you some plain text examples which you can steal, some angles which you can take away, and then categories of emails that you can go away and research and implement yourself. You know, different hooks, different angles, but the same core system, right? You have plain text with unique and strong angles, a clear identity as a brand with strategic proof, you know, proving your product and backing it up based on the angle that you're talking about, with market aware language, knowing what your consumers are talking about right now, with no real design dependency. Yes, there's some visual elements, but it's just photos. It looks like a blog post. It doesn't need to be complicated. And you're intentionally putting visuals in when it makes sense. Design heavy emails, they look impressive, but to be quite honest, plain text emails is where they get read. If your goal is revenue, reading matters more than your decoration. If you've never tested plain text, run one campaign with a founder's voice, clear hook, one CTA, no images, and you might be surprised with the outcome. Now, if you want us to help you build a retention strategy like this for your brand with plain texts, flows, campaigns, with consumer psychology that keeps your customers coming back and buying for more, there's a link below where we're offering complimentary audits right now. And if this breakdown was useful, please subscribe. I break down what's actually working in e-commerce email every single week. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.